Hi, everybody. I'm Al Hamill from Whitefish High School and Whitefish Independent High School, and I'm building a class right now. And the class that I'm building is for the Student Engagement Workshop PIR 2020. And I want to share some tips here about how I'm manipulating or using the different tools within Google Classroom to make this hopefully an effective learning opportunity for you all. So the first thing I want to show you is I use topics, and topics are better than weekly format because next year or later this year, if I decide to copy this class and do it again, all I do is click copy, and I don't have to change any dates here in this title. But if you like the weekly format, go crazy with that. The next for this actual workshop that I'm creating, I created an overview topic, and within that I used what's called a material. And when you go to create, you have these different options: assignment, quiz assignment, question, material, and reuse a post, or you create your topics. And in this case, I just put a material in because it's there just for a reference. If you're a student and you click on this, it gives you the quick directions, and then they can click on the link from here, or they can click on view material, and then the whole thing opens up. Students can add class comments, or I could add class comments reminding them to read it carefully and what have you. So that's the first piece in here. The cool thing about material is nobody can edit it. They can open it, they can make a copy for themselves, but they can't edit it. So it's there, but you don't have to worry about them changing anything. Going back into classwork and moving down to part one, you'll notice here that I use, again, material, and I put the objective for part one in here. And then underneath, I actually use questions. Questions are nice because it posts questions and students can answer them and then turn them in. It's not assigned, so it doesn't act as an assignment, but students need to be taught to look for questions and make sure that they're answering those. So how is that different than an assignment? Well, let's look down here at this assignment in part two. And when I click on this, I can see complete the attached doc. I click into view assignment. As a teacher, I can see if I had students signed up for this class right now, I'd see all their names. I'd be able to see what's turned in and what's not. When I click on instructions and I open, this, in this case, I wanted students to be able to edit this doc because in the directions, they're going to read through here. They're going to highlight things they find interesting. They're going to click on the comment tab, and they're going to add comments to it. So I want them to be able to edit this. But if I go back in, I'm going to edit this assignment. And you'll notice in here that I made it for all students. If I wanted to individualize this, I could just assign specific students if they were in my roster. The other thing is I always put a due date on assignments because that's really important. That's what makes an assignment. But what's interesting is maybe I don't want to score this assignment, but I want to encourage them to do that. So in this case, when I first created it, I left it at a 100-point value. I could type in here and I could just make it 10 points. Or better yet, because this is for a workshop for teachers and I'm not actually assessing it, I could click on ungraded. And this is nice because, again, students see that they have an assignment to do. They don't always look at their point value. And because they don't look at their point value, they're more apt to do it. So that's a good incentive to get kids to do something that you're maybe not putting in the grade book. So you'll notice in here, again, it says students can edit file. And that is useful when I want them to all add to the exact same document. I want to see all the students sharing their comments and reading each other's comments. So I'm going to leave this. I'm going back into classwork, and I'm going to move down to activity 2, and I'm going to show you how this differs. Okay, when I look at the assignment and I go into instructions, I again attached a Google Doc, but in this time, I don't want students to see each other's comments in everything they do. I want them to work on this, make their own comments, and then I want them to share back to the class separately without every other student in the class seeing what they wrote or what they did. So to do that, I'm going to go into edit. And again, I'm going to change my points to ungraded. I have a due date on here. I put it in my topic part 2. But then if you look down here, it says each student will get a copy. That means as they add to this copy, theirs is unique. It doesn't impact the other students, and it also doesn't impact my original. The trick to doing this one though is once you create the assignment, you have to set this the first time. It doesn't allow you to go back and edit and change your mind and say that you're going to have each student is going to get a copy. You'd have to recreate this assignment and re-add the Google Doc in order to make it be each student will get a copy. And point in case, let me show you. I'm going to go back to activity 1, and let's say, oh, you know what, I want to limit this and I don't want the students to be able to do that. So I edit and I click on, oh, I don't have the option to make a copy anymore because I added it. So the workaround for that is to delete the copy, re-add the copy, and then, oh, I still can't do it. So now I have to delete this assignment, recreate the assignment, and re-add the file. So let me go through that process. I go to the activity that I delete it. And then I create an assignment. And then I add the doc that I want. And now I can make a copy for each student. So make sure you're planning ahead before you create this. Otherwise, you have to go back and recreate it again.